Hey everyone, I'm Coach Pete. I'm a high school tennis coach, have been for 21 years now. Also a tennis dad. I've got a 12-year-old son and a 9-year-old daughter who both play and love the game. Just to cut to the chase, I own 28 Fast Track ball machines. John, the owner of Fast Track, has been beyond helpful in helping me get the machines, how to use them, and how we could use them in our community to build the game over the last 2 years. He recently asked me to make a little video to promote the machines, to get a kind of a coach's angle from someone who's used it. And given how much support he's been for me and how awesome these machines have been, it's the absolute least I can do. So I'm just going to kind of talk about what prompted me to get all these machines, how we've used them, what kind of success we've had, and also a little bit of look of what might be coming next using these machines in our program. So here we go. Why did I get them in the first place? One of the things that's always frustrated me about tennis is that when you're starting out in tennis, it's kind of like the opposite of soccer. Like, you get a bunch of kids on a soccer field. They could be 5 years old, not knowing what they're doing at all. But they're running around there, they're running around the field, they're having a great time, they're kicking a ball, and they go home and they feel like soccer players. Even if they hardly know how to play, they feel like they can do it. And I think that is a big reason why soccer is the most played game in the world. But what I think is the most fun game in the world is tennis. The problem is that at the very beginning, it's the opposite of soccer. It's often hard to get a lot of people out there at once, and it's blatantly obvious to youngsters that they don't know what they're doing because they can't get a rally going back and forth. And it is the most fun game in the world once you know how to rally, but until you know how to rally, it can be one of the most frustrating games in the world. So you're always looking, I think, as a high school coach trying to build a community, the real question is, how do you take a bunch of youngsters and as fast as possible get them over that hump so they're rallying and feeling like this is something I can do. I'm awesome at this. And once kids are like that, then you just can't hold them back. They just go for it. So anyways, I was at a club a couple of years ago watching one of my son's tennis tournaments. I saw one of the machines being used on a far court, didn't know what it was, and quickly started putting my attention over there, and quickly realized it was shooting out 20 balls a minute, going right into this little net that was perpetually feeding. And I'm also a math teacher, so that quick math said 20 times 60, that's 1,200 balls an hour. And all of a sudden light bulbs started coming off in my head, where I'm like, well, there's a way to get kids quickly railing, potentially. So I did a little bit of digging, figured out that they're Fast Tracks, got in touch with the owner, John, realized that it was just a newly emerging company. They're just getting off the ground. And I told him, look, I think these are the answer to how we can, launch the game for youngsters. And of course, that was his vision too. So our visions were completely aligned. I immediately bought 6 machines, and we started at it and using them. My first pilot was with a group of elementary kids. We did a 6-week thing in an elementary gym. I set it up for free, got 20 kids to come out each week, set 6 machines up in this tiny elementary gym, but the space handled 6 machines easily. We put 3 or 4 kids on a machine. I promised John that I was not going to use the Coach Pete teaching skills. I was just going to strictly by the book, use the steps that he put out on his website to really see, if we use your machine with, the setup that you've put together, what does it produce? So we did that for 6 weeks, and oh my goodness, what a success it was. Just a few fun things about it. At the end each week, I told parents, hey, you want to take one home for the week? Just help me take them apart, figuring that'll help me with the breakdown quicker. So every week there were 6 parents helping me, sets of parents taking ball machines down. and then they would set them up in their basements for the rest of the week. And this is winters in Michigan, so we've got all these youngsters just like hitting hundreds, thousands of balls, bringing them back 20 minutes early before the next week's thing, helping me set it up. So by week 3, I have, half dozen different parents each week helping me set up machines, take down machines. You're meeting new people in the community. The kids are just very quickly getting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of hits. And by the end of the 6 weeks, it was just an absolutely, first of all, just a fun time, and just such a great time of growth for the kids. And fast forward 2 years later, these kids are in 8th going into 9th grade now. Actually, no, I'm doing that math wrong. They're like 7th and 8th grade now, and they're just absolutely excelling. My middle school program is 50% bigger than it was 2 years ago. We had, I think, 50 kids in the fall and 60 in the spring last year. And not only do we have bigger numbers, but they're better. I mean, they got off to that quick start that you want them to get off to. So I am just thrilled to see what's next as those kids now age up and get into high school in the coming years. We're off to just an awesome start with that. But we've also found ways to use them at the high school. After buying the 6 machines, I told John I'm all in. So I said, give me a pallet of them. So now we got 22 more of them. We have a total of 28 machines. So in the summers now, I have an email that goes out to every exiting 5th grader in our district saying I will give you free tennis nights, one Monday night a week all summer long. Every Monday night we get kids out there, and I just do the same thing. We've got 25 machines or so. We get tons of kids out there. Parents are helping set them up. They're taking them home. They're setting them in their driveways in the summer, bringing them back the next week, using them like crazy. In the winters now, my JV coach has noticed that there's some kids where they would want to play, they want to train, but they either don't have the time or resources to be able to play in a club. So we have a rule that you can train up to 4 kids at a time in the off season. So he has a sign up, and he'll take 4 kids at a time and go into a middle school gym or a high school gym, and he sets it up, and the older kids train, get ready for the season. The kids who can't make it into a club as much, they're doing that. With the varsity girls, we've also found, and guys, we found ways for the machines to be really useful as well. With the varsity, we often have Saturday tournaments where everyone warms up real early in the morning. They play a match around 8 or 9 o'clock, but then they play 2 more matches throughout the day. And the courts start filling up during tournaments. So after the first match, you don't get a good warm-up for round 2 or 3. You just get that like 5-10 minute warm-up, and then you're out the gate. So we've been setting up the fast track machines, a couple of them, out in parking lots for like conference finals, regional finals, state finals, tournaments like that. And kids get themselves extra warmed up before they take the court, and that's been not only great for injury prevention, but you just play better if you get a better warm-up in. So it's been helping us there. Speaking of injury prevention, our one singles player last winter sustained an injury, and twice tried to get back into playing tennis through rehab, but then would re-injure it when taking the court playing again. So we got one of the machines into her garage so that she could hit in a more controlled way for a few weeks before re-entering back into the club, and that gave her a successful launch. She completely rehabbed, was back for the start of the season, and had a great senior year. So there's just been so many ways that these machines have been helpful for us. Like I said, we've got 28 machines, and it's rare for that many of them to ever be sitting in a shed. Right now it's the middle of winter in Michigan, and so most of them are in, youngsters' basements or garages in our community being used, and we share them around and are having a lot of fun with it. I keep a few for myself for when I want to train my children, or I do it for cardio in the basement. A lot of our coaches, any of them that request having one to work with kids, they have one as well. And goodness, it's just been such a benefit to our program. If you're interested in purchasing these machines at maybe a bigger scale like what we've done, I would just give you full permission and encourage you to reach out to me. I'm always happy to talk tennis. Also, if you are part of a tennis program who already has some, I would love it if you found a way to connect. I'll put my email in the video notes here. I'd love it if you reached out so we can find more and more ways to use these. John from Fast Track just let me know a week ago that the app is now working very well for tracking spin and speed, which is something that I'm a math teacher. I love data. Things that you can measure get me excited, and they do that for players as well. I cannot wait to start seeing how we can use the spin tracking ability from this app to help the youngsters not only be able to rally, but to start measuring their growth in topspin. I think that this is going to help not only just, it's already working so well of getting kids from not being able to rally to be able to rally, but I think this whole spin tracking thing could really help us level up from being able to rally to getting these super young kids hitting with topspin. I mean, just the thought of, 30 kids next summer having these things, or 28 kids having these things in their basements and their garages soon, with the ability to track topspin rates. I mean, goodness, it's going to be so much fun. It's going to be wild what we can do. So thanks so much for listening. I hope that if you have these machines, you're enjoying them just as much. I do want to mention that I can hardly believe it, but 2 years later, not a single one of the machines has broken. They have been in all kinds of kids' garages and driveways and basements and on our tennis courts. We've been taking them all over, setting them up, taking them down. I can hardly believe none of them have broken yet, but they haven't. So despite being at a really good price point, they have been incredibly durable as well. So again, just super thrilled, love to share it, and hope you're enjoying them as well. Take care.